I grew up with a mother who answered all my questions before I'd even asked them, and gave explanations that could send most kids into a depression. At age 6, when I asked whether or not I could have ice cream before dinner, I got to hear about how she just read Diet for a New America and how ice cream might lead to my premature death. When my mom came out as a lesbian, I was in junior high and made the mistake of asking how long she'd known. I expected the answer to come in a sentence with perhaps a numeral in it. Instead, I got a complete blow-by-blow description of the last 30 years of her life. I fared no better with my father, a biologist, who couldn't fathom that a child might ask a simple question like, "What kind of bird is that?" and not want to know the Latin name, all its classification, its possible position on the endangered species list, its last known sighting, and whether or not ranchers were responsible for its demise. I vowed that when I had children of my own, I would give them straight and to the point answers. But genetics are a tricky thing. My 7-year-old daughter has already had 1 or 2 existential crises in which she's exclaimed, "Playing, eating, sleeping, school, is that all there is?" My 9-year-old was caught explaining the history of film to bewildered 3rd graders on the playground. We watched the original Godzilla together, and then came some questions. What's radiation? What's a Geiger counter? These are easy to field. Channel my dad, don't channel my mother, and tone it down. Next questions got harder. Why would people want to test bombs and blow them up in the ocean? Don't they know there's fish down there? Why do we have nuclear weapons if we know they can kill? Because we're human. Because we can't help it. I don't have an answer, okay? Too many questions, too many answers. Mommy is tired now. But for all their questions, they've never once asked about the obvious surplus of grandmothers they have. Every Saturday morning, their lesbian grandmothers pick them up and take them to their house for the day. But lately, they've been making observations. So, Mommy, if Papa Dennis is our grandfather and Grandma Lydia is our grandmother, how come they don't live together? How did they have you? Did they divorce? And where does Grandma Lynn fit in? I'm an end-of-the-60s bastard love child. Our poor children are the product of a boring heterosexual marriage. They just won't get it. My daughter has come home from school crying that she feels left out. All her other friends have stepmothers and stepfathers. When is she finally gonna get some? Again, I have no answers. I think about exploiting my mother and saying, "Paloma, you guys are the only kids on the block with lesbian grandmothers. That's way better than stepmothers. Now go outside and play." In 2008, when gay marriage was legal in California, my mother and her partner of 20 years decided to get married. I still worried about fielding those questions. I figured we'd just never make a big deal about anything and there would be no questions. I sat them down and told them over after-school snacks. The grandmas can't get married, my daughter said. Oh no. All my liberal, progressive parenting out the window. Did I not answer questions correctly along the way? Should I have given more detailed answers she never asked for? Would that have transformed her into a more open-minded, accepting individual? I heard my mouth open and some sort of "this day was coming" speech fell tumbling out of my mouth. Paloma, when two people love each other and are ready to make a commitment, okay, commitment is when you can marry a boy when you grow up, or a girl, or no one. You can stay single. That might not actually be a bad option for you. Mom, I'm not asking for an explanation. I'm just telling you it's impossible. I want them to get married, but they can't. Actually, in California, now they can. I heard myself rattle on and on about court decision, Christian extremists, fascists, freedom, the civil rights movement, Stonewall. A red light flashed above my eyes and I knew I'd done it. Information overload. I had become my parents. You don't get it, Mom, she sighed. The grandmas don't have any dresses. Have you ever seen the grandmas in dresses? I help them clean their house and closets, and I've never seen one. Weddings have to have dresses. She threw my resolve into a bit of a spiral. I had at least 4 paragraphs left of my speech about how you fall in love with the person and not the gender. But instead, I was forced to explain that despite having no fashion sense whatsoever, her grandmothers could and would get married. The grandmas can't help themselves, Paloma. They bought stock in Land's End and LL Bean. No turtlenecks, please, my son laughed. Poor kid. My mother has been dressing him like a middle-aged lesbian for years. My daughter asked if they'd at least wear dress shoes instead of sneakers. One can only hope, I said, but I wouldn't hold out for it. You don't need dresses or nice shoes, though, Paloma. You just need love, I said. Okay, Mommy, she said. But they're going to have a cake, right? Everyone has a cake at weddings. She looked at me to confirm custom here, and for a second I thought maybe I should explain veganism and a gluten-free diet. But then I thought better of it. Yes on the cake, I announced, happy to finally answer a simple, direct question.